I thought my wife was just distant. Then I found out the truth, and it ruined everything. Part 1/3. For a long time, I told myself that every couple goes through rough patches. You stop holding hands as much. Sex becomes less frequent. Conversations get shorter. I thought it was normal. Just part of marriage. A phase, a winter, something you wait out. But when the person you've built your life with starts to feel like a stranger sleeping next to you, you either confront it or you pretend it's fine and lie to yourself. I chose the latter. My wife Emily and I had been married for 6 years. We weren't a fireworks couple, not anymore. But we had history, a mortgage, 2 cars, a shared Spotify account. We'd been through deaths in the family, lost jobs, depression, her miscarriage, and we were still standing. So when she started pulling away, I just chalked it up to stress. Her job had been demanding lately. She's a corporate event planner, and they had back-to-back conferences all summer. Late nights, weekend emails, always on the phone. She stopped laughing at my jokes, started scrolling through her phone during dinner, stopped kissing me goodnight. But I gave her space, tried to be supportive, tried to cook more, clean more, surprise her with dumb little notes on the fridge. Nothing worked. Then came the lies, small ones. I'd hear her say she was heading to the office, only to come home later than usual, makeup slightly fresher than when she left. Once she told me she was having lunch with a friend, but that friend called our house looking for her. Red flags, right? I know, but love makes you stupid. The first time I truly felt that pit in my stomach, the kind that whispers, something's wrong, and you're not ready to know what it is, was a random Wednesday. She had just come home, dropped her bag, and headed straight for the shower. I noticed her lock screen light up on the kitchen counter. It was a message from a number not saved in her contacts. Just 3 words. Last night. I didn't touch the phone. I didn't need to. My body already knew. I sat there for a while in that weird, nauseating stillness where time feels fake. I stared at the wall like it owed me answers. She came out of the shower, towel on her head, kissed me on the cheek and said, "Long day," then went straight to bed. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't confront her either. Instead, I started watching, listening. I began noticing patterns. She always left the house on Wednesdays and Fridays around the same time. Her wardrobe changed slightly. Tighter clothes, more perfume. She was suddenly obsessed with her fitness tracker. One night she came home wearing a different lipstick than the one she left with. Another time I found a hotel receipt in her purse for a hotel less than 20 minutes from our house. The date was 2 days prior. The room was booked for 4 hours. My chest hurt for weeks. I thought I was going crazy, so I did what I never thought I'd do. I invaded her privacy. I bought a cheap burner phone and linked it to her iCloud account. Took me a while to figure it out, but once I did, I could see her messages, her photos, even her location. I hated myself for it, but I hated not knowing more. That's when it all unraveled. The texts were there, hundreds of them. Messages with someone saved only as J Flirty, sexual, private. There were photos too, of her in lingerie I'd never seen, selfies from bathrooms I didn't recognize. And the worst part, she looked happy, genuinely happy. That smile I hadn't seen in months. It was there, just not for me. I didn't cry. I didn't break anything. I just sat on the floor of our bedroom, staring at a woman I didn't know anymore. The woman I married, the woman I defended to my friends when they said she seemed cold, the woman I'd held through panic attacks and funerals and life. Gone. Over the next week, I started saving everything. Screenshots, location history, messages. I backed it all up. I created a folder on my laptop labeled Truth. It felt sick, like I was building a case against someone I loved. But I needed it. Proof, closure, maybe even leverage. And then something strange happened. I saw a message from Jay that said, "We can't keep doing this at the hotel. Let's use the house when he's at work." The house. Our house. I almost vomited. That Friday, I told Emily I'd be working late. She barely looked up from her phone. Said, "Okay, love you," like she meant it. At 6 p.m., I parked a few blocks away. At 6:27, a car I didn't recognize pulled into our driveway. A man got out, mid-30s, athletic, confident. He had a key. He didn't knock. My wife didn't greet him at the door. He let himself in. Part 2. I don't know how long I sat there, gripping the steering wheel with white knuckles. A part of me wanted to burst in and catch them red-handed, to scream, to destroy something. Anything. But I couldn't move. I was frozen. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it over the dull hum of the street. He stayed for 2 hours. When he finally left, I saw Emily come out to the porch to watch him drive off. She smiled, the same smile she used to give me. I hadn't seen it in months. That was the moment something inside me cracked. I wasn't just heartbroken anymore. I was angry. This wasn't just infidelity. This was betrayal on a level I couldn't wrap my head around. She brought him into our home, into our bed, the place we built together, where we shared dreams and Sunday mornings and arguments about what to watch on Netflix. That space was mine, ours, and she turned it into a playground for her lies. I didn't confront her, not yet. Instead, I kept collecting evidence. I wanted her to feel cornered, trapped, like I had. So I waited. Over the next week, I watched them repeat the same routine. Always Fridays, always when she thought I was at work. They used our home like it was their private hotel. She even cooked for him, the same recipes she used to surprise me with. I took pictures, videos, even voice recordings using an old phone I hid under the couch cushions. At one point, I caught them laughing about me. "He's so oblivious," Jay said. "Like a lost puppy." And Emily replied, "I almost feel bad, but it's not like he makes me feel anything anymore." That one cut the deepest. I wasn't just a fool, I was a joke. The next step was planning. I wasn't going to confront her in a fit of rage. That would give her control. Emotions are messy, unpredictable. I wanted precision. I contacted a divorce attorney, one of the best in our state, laid out everything. She was cold, professional, efficient. She told me the evidence I gathered was more than enough to give me the upper hand, especially since we didn't have kids. The house was mostly in my name. Our joint accounts could be frozen. The car was mine. Her financial independence would take a hit. All I had to do was say when. But I wanted her to feel it. So I picked the anniversary of our first date. She had no idea I remembered. We were supposed to go out that night, and she hadn't even brought it up. Just said she'd be working late. Perfect. I printed every photo, every screenshot. I placed them in a sleek black folder and left it on the kitchen table with a single note. "Thought you should know what I've been up to." Then I packed a bag, grabbed my laptop, and drove to a friend's house to stay the night. At 9:43 p.m., I got the first call. I didn't answer. 10 minutes later, another call. Then a string of texts. "What is this? Can we talk? Please come home. I messed up." By midnight, she was calling from a different number. The next morning, I went back to the house. She was sitting at the table, the folder open in front of her, eyes red, makeup smeared, like a cliché. She stood up as soon as I walked in. "Please," she said, "let me explain." I didn't say a word, just stared. "I didn't mean for it to go this far," she started, and I could already tell she had rehearsed this. "It started as a mistake. I was lonely and you were so distant and—" I held up my hand. "No." She froze. "You don't get to blame this on me. You brought him into our home. You let him touch you in our bed. You laughed at me behind my back." Tears started streaming down her face. "I was broken," she whispered. "So you decided to break me too?" I snapped. She tried to reach for my hand and I stepped back. "I want a divorce," I said. Her face crumpled like a paper bag. "But no but. It's over." She collapsed into the chair, sobbing. I didn't feel pity. I didn't feel anything. And then she said something that made my blood run cold. "I ended it last night." I blinked. "What?" "I told him it was over, that I was choosing you, that I made a mistake." I didn't know what to believe anymore. But then she added, "He didn't take it well. Said he'd ruin everything. Said you'd pay too." Part 3. I didn't say anything at first, just stared at her as that final sentence echoed in my mind. "He said you'd pay too." "What does that mean?" I asked. "What the hell did he mean?" She wiped her eyes, shaky. He said he knew where you worked. Said he'd show your boss everything. That he'd hurt you if I didn't go back to him." I was stunned. I thought the worst was over. That the pain would end with her lies, her betrayal. But now, it was bigger. messier, dangerous. I felt that same hollow rage that had first crept in when I discovered her secret, but now I had more than just her lies to contend with. I was facing an actual threat, a man who would hurt me just to keep Emily in his grip. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" I snapped. I could feel the anger rising, but it wasn't just directed at her anymore. I, I didn't want you to know. I didn't want to hurt you more, she said, tears flowing freely again. "Well, you did anyway." I stood up. The idea of him coming after me, of him threatening my job, my life, it all made me sick. "Where is he?" I asked, a cold edge in my voice. "I don't know," Emily replied. "I haven't seen him since I ended it." "Ended it?" I laughed bitterly. "You think you just get to end something like this, Emily? He's been playing you like a puppet, and now he's pulling my strings too. And I'm supposed to just walk away from this?" I could feel the pressure building in my chest. I needed answers. But the more she spoke, the more I realized none of this made sense. "I'm sorry," she said, broken. "I should have told you everything. I was scared. He threatened me too." The moment she said those words, something shifted in me. Fear, guilt, but also a sense of clarity. I needed to take control of this situation. I needed to confront Jay, to make him understand that I wasn't going to let him ruin my life. Emily was broken. She'd made a choice, but I wasn't going to let her decision destroy everything we had built together. But before I could act, the doorbell rang. I froze. "Who's that?" I asked, my voice tight. Emily wiped her eyes quickly and turned toward the door. It's probably my sister. I asked her to come over." I didn't believe her. Not anymore. I stepped toward the door, my mind racing. Was it her sister, or was it him? Was he coming for me? For us? I didn't wait for her to answer. I flung the door open. Standing there, completely unexpected, was a woman I didn't recognize. She was holding a small folded envelope, her expression serious. "I'm looking for Emily," she said calmly. Emily came to the door, trying to act composed, but I could see the panic in her eyes. "Who are you?" I asked, trying to control my anger. The woman ignored me and handed the envelope to Emily. "I was told to deliver this," she said simply, and then walked away, not waiting for a reply. Emily's hand shook as she opened the envelope. I could see her face change as she read whatever was inside. "What's going on?" I demanded. I, I don't know," she whispered, clearly rattled. She handed me the letter without a word. It was short, written in black ink. "I warned you. I always get what I want. You can't hide from me." The room seemed to close in on me. It was a warning, a threat. Jay wasn't done with us yet. I stared at Emily, my mind racing. She hadn't mentioned any of this. Why hadn't she told me about the threats? Why had she kept it from me? "Emily, what the hell is going on?" I asked, my voice shaking with anger. Her face was pale, her body trembling. "I didn't want you to get hurt. I didn't want him to come after you." "You don't get to decide that for me," I said, the weight of the situation dawning on me. "You don't get to protect me by lying to me." She collapsed onto the couch, shaking her head in disbelief. "I don't know what to do. I thought I could handle it, but I was wrong. He's dangerous." I stood there, speechless. This was a different world now. This wasn't about the affair anymore. This was about survival. We needed a plan. "I'm going to find him," I said. "And when I do, I'll make sure he knows this ends." Now, part 4. I stood there, the silence of Jay's penthouse suffocating me. Every word I had said to him had felt like it was carved into stone, irreversible. Yet I still wasn't sure what came next. The confrontation had ended with no resolution, no satisfaction, just a feeling of finality. And somehow, that was worse than anything else. The sudden buzz of my phone in my pocket startled me. I pulled it out and saw Emily's name. It had been days since I'd heard from her. Our last conversation had been tense, filled with accusations and confessions. I wasn't ready for more, but I knew I had to face her at some point. I took a deep breath and answered. "Hey," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, but I could hear the frustration still lingering in my tone. "Where are you?" Emily's voice came through, shaky and filled with concern. It wasn't the same confidence she had before. I had made it clear that things between us were on the line now. "I'm at his place," I replied, not wanting to sugarcoat it. "Told him to stay away. It's over." The pause on the other side of the phone was deafening. "Are you okay?" she asked, sounding unsure. I couldn't tell if she cared or if she was just afraid of what I might do next. "Do I sound okay?" I snapped, biting back the hurt. "He threatened me, Emily. You think I'm okay after that?" I... I didn't know it would go that far," she said, guilt lacing her words. "I didn't want this." "But you let it happen," I retorted, my chest tightening. "You let him into our lives. You kept me in the dark. Now look where we are." "I never wanted to hurt you," she said softly. "I swear." "Well, you did," I replied, not trying to hide the bitterness in my voice. "You've hurt me more than you'll ever know." There was another long pause. Her words seemed to hang in the air, unresolved. Then she spoke again, quieter this time. "Do you still love me?" I wasn't prepared for that question. It felt like a knife to the gut. "I don't know," I said, my voice cracking slightly. "I thought I did. But now, I don't even know who you are anymore." "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry. Please, can we talk?" I could feel the tears welling in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. "I don't know if I can trust you anymore. You've been lying to me for so long. You've been with him, Emily, and you never told me. How am I supposed to look at you the same way?" "Please," she begged, her voice breaking. "Please, just let me explain." I shook my head, even though she couldn't see me. "I can't do this right now. I need space. I need time to think about everything. You've torn this apart, and I need to figure out if I even want to put it back together." "I understand," she whispered. Before I could respond, I ended the call. The silence that followed was suffocating, but it was the only thing that made sense to me. I couldn't keep living like this, walking on eggshells every time I talked to her. I needed to find myself again. The next few days passed in a blur. Emily reached out several more times, but I ignored her calls and texts. I didn't have the strength to face her yet, let alone forgive her. What would be the point? Could I ever trust her again? Then out of the blue, I received a message from Jay. It was a threat, something I wasn't surprised to see. "You think you've won, huh? Stay out of my way. Things are only just starting." I stared at the message, my anger rising. Was he really still trying to control me? I'd already told him where I stood, but he wasn't going to stop. I blocked his number and deleted the message. No more games, no more threats. Later that evening, Emily showed up at my door. She stood there, her face pale, her eyes red. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to close the door and pretend like she wasn't standing there. But the other part of me, the part that still cared, let her in. "I need to talk," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I stepped back, allowing her into my apartment. I didn't know what this conversation would bring, but I knew it had to happen. "I'm sorry for everything," she said, tears welling in her eyes. "I've messed up, and I don't know how to fix it. But I need you to know, I chose you." I froze. Her words hit me harder than anything else she had said. "You chose me," I repeated, disbelief lacing my voice. "Please," she begged. "I made a mistake, a huge mistake. But it's over now. I love you. I want to be with you." The words sounded hollow. Could I really believe her? Could I forgive her for everything? "I need time, Emily," I said, stepping away. "I can't do this right now. I need to figure out what I want. If I want this, if I want you." And with that, I walked away, leaving her standing in the middle of the room alone. Maybe I'd made the right choice, maybe not. But for the first time in a long time, I was doing what was best for me.